Being an expat is a privilege, and some people have said that I'm out of touch, that I live in a parallel universe, and I just want to set the record straight. I never claimed to live like a local because I can't, and I've always been honest about my privilege of being a foreigner and sharing my story and experiences and observations on here on YouTube and on TikTok. I guess I ruffled some feathers, but I've always been honest that I am privileged, and I just want to say there are different types of expats. There's no way a foreigner, especially if you don't have ancestry to the country that you're living in, and especially if you're living short term, can ever really live like a local. The type of expats, and I'll just go quickly over them so we all know, there's different hierarchies and different type of expats who all live different degrees of privilege, can't live like locals. There's a diplomatic expats, traditionally older men from the US, the UK, that were sent overseas as ambassadors or consulate workers or government jobs, basically. That was typically the average expat. But now these days we have more people like myself of different lifestyles that want to also live overseas. So aside from diplomats, you have people that work in multinational corporations. I met many of those here, or when I was in Singapore. They have their moving costs covered, housing subsidies, and depending on the country, you can have drivers, cooks, helpers, cleaners. I mean, wow, some of the expats I've seen, I'm like, wow, that's very privileged. You have trailing spouses. So I see a lot of women that do follow their husbands' careers. Let's be honest, it's mostly women giving up their careers, and that they were very accomplished, established women, but as foreigners, they can't work locally in the country. So, because they're on a marriage visa. I'm single and child-free, so I don't have a spouse to give me the life that I'm living. There are expats that work in the military, so different branches of the military. There are expats that are digital nomads, so they live in like lower cost countries and just work online. There are expats that, like myself, that either are investors they're quite affluent investors, so they invest $500,000 or more to buy property or start a really successful business. And then there's expats like me, small business owners. So I just want to be clear that to be an expat is a privilege, and there's no way that I can live like a local. And I've met many expats that are married to locals, and they still have a degree of privilege as well too. So I do recognize the challenges here that many people are facing, but let's just not minimize my experience as well too. And I'm here to share my experience and observation. So that's all, and I just want to be clear, I do have privilege, and here I am sharing honestly my story and experience living as an expat in Serbia.